Today on the Local Government News Roundup, Bayside sues for planning transparency. Kingston re-signs CEO Peter Bean. A suspended councillor responds with a legal threat. News from the National General Assembly in Canberra. North Sydney winds back its park user fee plan. The latest Murray-Darling water buyback slammed by RAMJO. The sector reacts to the Queensland budget. Waratah-Wynyard names its interim CEO. And council travel plans remain contentious in Perth. Good morning, it's Wednesday the 24th of June. I'm Chris Eddy and this is your dose of local government news from across Australia and beyond. Brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. Welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you listening. Bayside City Council in Melbourne is taking its fight for transparency over new planning rules to the Supreme Court. The council is seeking to compel Planning Minister Sonia Kilkenny to hand over ministerial briefs and advice used to approve a controversial planning amendment affecting 25 activity centres across 9 Melbourne council areas. The council says freedom of information requests have been refused. According to The Age, Mayor Debbie Taylor-Haynes says the action is about transparency and the community's right to understand how decisions reshaping their neighbourhoods were made. The state government says it will challenge the application. The City of Kingston is calling on the state government to reconsider the planned design for the Aspendale Level Crossing Removal project. The council is advocating for a rail over road solution rather than the rail under road trench announced in 2022. The council consultation attracted more than 540 submissions, with 76% of respondents backing the elevated option. Mayor Georgina Oxley says the project is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to improve the community. In more Kingston news, the council has extended the contract of CEO Peter Bean for a further 4 years with an additional 1-year option. Mr. Bean has served as CEO since 2021. Mayor Georgina Oxley praised his leadership, citing his steady hand through significant financial pressures and his commitment to the community. Council endorsed the extension at its meeting on Monday night. Victorian Education Minister Ben Carroll says there will be no public school closures, but Mansfield Shire Council says the future of the Mansfield Secondary College Annex at Mount Buller suggests otherwise. In a letter to the editor, Mayor Steve Raby says the annex, operating since 1996, is being shut down, with the council claiming repeated requests for updates from the Department of Education have gone unanswered. The council argues the annex is a vital community link between Mansfield and Mount Buller, supporting athlete pathways and local jobs. Suspended Melton City Councillor Ashley Vandenberg has hit back at a misconduct ruling, labelling the internal arbiters report false and defamatory. Speaking to ABC News, Councillor Vandenberg announced intentions to launch legal action and refer the independent arbiter, Diana Price, to the Law Commission of Victoria. Vandenberg claims the 2-month suspension for Code of Conduct breaches is politically motivated, stemming from a separate privacy dispute between her partner and the council, currently before VCAT. While she'll forego her councillor allowance during the suspension period, she's vowed to continue performing her civic duties and has confirmed a state election bid against the Labor Party for the seat of Sydenham. Also making news today, Yarra Ranges Council has voted unanimously to push for a full environmental effects statement regarding the proposed expansion of the Yarra Valley Quarry in Launching Place. The Lilydale and Yarra Valley leader reported the council is advocating to the state government for rigorous scrutiny over plans to clear 26 hectares of native forest. South Gippsland Shire Council will remove community sharps bins from July 1st, shifting disposal responsibilities to the health sector. According to the Sentinel Times, Chief Executive Alison Jones has said the sharps disposal services are generally delivered by the health sector, noting that compliance upgrades following recent vandalism would cost $10,000 per bin. Geelong has secured a multi-year agreement to host the AusX Open Supercross at GMHBA Stadium. The Geelong Advertiser reported yesterday that the premier motorsport event will move from Melbourne this November, bringing an estimated $18 million economic boost to the region. a move that Deputy Mayor Eddie Contell described as an exciting moment reflecting the new Geelong. And from Knox City Council, an announcement that recycling bin lids are changing soon. Starting Monday, July 20, blue lid recycling bins in the city will be switched to yellow due to the new state government rules requiring consistency of household bin lid colours across the state. The National General Assembly is underway in Canberra this week. There'll be a bit of news to come out of that over the next few days, I'm sure, and there's some already dribbling through. The Australian Local Government Association has launched a new national guide aimed at boosting disability inclusion at councils across the country. Released ahead of the National General Assembly this week, the guide provides practical frameworks to help local governments make infrastructure and public services more accessible, while tapping into an underutilised talent pool of over 5 million Australians living with disability. The Federal Local Government Minister Christy McBain has addressed an ALGA forum in Canberra, reaffirming the Commonwealth's commitment to regional councils. Government News reported that Minister McBain acknowledged intense cost of living pressures, workforce shortages and ageing infrastructure, while pointing to a 30% increase in financial assistance grants since taking office. The minister stopped short of meeting local government calls to permanently restore the grants to 1% of Commonwealth tax revenue. The minister also flagged upcoming disaster recovery funding reforms that she said will make emergency assistance faster and fairer for regional communities. From New South Wales, North Sydney Council has scaled back a contentious proposal to charge permit fees for commercial park users following strong community pushback. According to the Sydney Morning Herald this morning, the revised framework will see proposed fees for weddings, personal trainers and large private gatherings significantly reduced, though fees for commercial dog walkers and private schools will remain. The council says the revised fees will directly fund park maintenance. Councillors are expected to vote on the updated policy next week. Regional Cities New South Wales has welcomed a $5.56 million investment in Griffith City Council aimed at unlocking housing and critical infrastructure in one of the state's fastest growing regional economies. The funding is expected to help open up around 1,660 residential lots for development while supporting local jobs and growth. The Riverina and Murray Joint Organisation has condemned the federal government's latest Murray-Darling Basin water buyback, reportedly nearly 86 gigalitres for more than $430 million. Chair and Murrumbidgee Council Mayor Ruth McRae says the purchase will further hit farming communities across southern New South Wales, arguing the Basin Plan focuses on water recovery targets without properly addressing local and regional economic impacts. Councillor McRae has been busy. She's also the chair of the Sturt Highway Task Force, which is calling for urgent state and federal funding after a deadly crash near Uroli claimed 2 lives and injured 3 others. Mayor McRae says the tragedy follows another serious incident last week near Darlington Point, highlighting the ongoing toll on regional communities. The task force is calling for long-term safety upgrades, requiring between $600 and $800 million. Georges River Council has formalised its opposition to elements of the New South Wales Government's draft Community Participation Plan. The Council's official submission warns that proposed blanket exemptions could significantly reduce transparency by skipping public notification for major developments, including residential flat buildings. Mayor Elise Borg said while uniform statewide planning standards are welcome, they must not come at the expense of genuine community engagement. Meanwhile, the council has voted not to increase mayor and councillor fees for the forthcoming financial year, rejecting the standard 3.7% increase on offer. And Port Macquarie Hastings Council has welcomed cost of living relief and hospital funding in the new South Wales budget, but expressed disappointment over a lack of commitment to key regional infrastructure. Mayor Adam Roberts says council will continue advocating for critical water, sewer and road upgrades omitted from the state's plan, while focusing on delivering its own record $200 million capital works program. This is the Local Government News Roundup with thanks to the VLGA, Symphony 3 and Rath Engineering Development, our terrific sponsors. If you're able to support them, that would be greatly appreciated. You can find out more about them by heading to our website, lgnewsroundup.com. Well, the Local Government Association of Queensland has given a mixed response to the Queensland state budget. It has welcomed the doubling of the Residential Activation Fund, but is disappointed that the government has continued to reduce the annual rebate paid to councils to offset the household waste levy. LGAQ Chief Executive Alison Smith says the levy is projected to deliver the state government an additional $570 million over 4 years, a cost she says will ultimately land on ratepayers' bills. Brisbane City Council is set to vote on selling the historic Brisbane School of Arts building on Ann Street. The Brisbane Times reports the decision follows a failed expression of interest process to secure private sector restoration for the heritage-listed asset. And in more Brisbane news, the council has cancelled a planned expansion of pickleball courts at Joaquim Park following community protests over green space and a lack of consultation. The decision has sparked a political row, which has been reported on by the Brisbane Times. The city of Moreton Bay has received national recognition for its approach to housing insecurity and homelessness. The council was announced the winner of the affordable housing category at the National Awards for Local Government in Canberra. Its community leasing for social and affordable housing project enables community housing providers to access council-owned land through low-cost long-term leases. To date, the initiative has accommodated dozens of residents, with the council also waiving more than $2.2 million in development and infrastructure charges for eligible projects. Some news from South Australia and Western Australia in a moment, but first to Tasmania, where Waratah-Wynyard Council has adopted its 2026-27 annual plan and budget, setting a general rate increase of 4.9%. Described as one of the lowest on the state's northwest coast. The council has also appointed Gary Arnold as interim CEO, commencing late August. Mr Arnold previously served as CEO of Canberra Council for a decade, and he's currently supporting Orange City Council in New South Wales in an interim capacity. A $10 million park and ride facility in Rokeby has been given the green light after receiving unanimous approval from Clarence City Council. Pulse Tasmania reported that the Department of State Growth project will feature nearly 200 car spaces and secure bike storage to support Eastern Shore commuters. Construction is slated to begin later this year. The District Council of Grant in South Australia will officially modernise its identity, rebranding as the Southern Limestone Coast Council from the 1st of July. Following a 6-week community consultation period, elected members voted this month to approve the progressive rollout of the new name and visual identity. Chief Executive Officer Gary Button said the update addresses long-standing brand inconsistencies across council facilities, with further implementation managed entirely in-house to remain cost-effective. A budget of $50,000 has been allocated for the project. More reporting on that rollout from the Mount Gambier Times. A City of Perth committee has voted against a proposal to suspend all international and interstate council travel, according to Perth Now. The travel freeze, initially proposed in April to deliver budget savings, was rejected by the Policy, Legislation and Governance Committee in favour of existing engagement frameworks. Planned travel for the remainder of the year include the ALGA National General Assembly on at the moment in Canberra and an estimated $9,400 trip to Denpasar, Bali later this year to review a sister city arrangement. Community advocates have criticised the decision, calling for greater transparency and measurable outcomes on all ratepayer-funded travel. The City of Bunbury will resume processing food organics and garden organics, or FOGO, following a special council meeting decision. The move ends more than a year of organic waste being directed to landfill following the closure of the Banksia Road facility in 2024. Processing is expected to commence in October. The service will cost an additional $695,000 annually compared to landfilling, but the council says the decision is a long-term investment that protects against future state landfill levies. And here's a bonus story from the NT. An enthusiastic response to the City of Darwin's compost bin rebate program has seen more than 100 households divert organic waste from landfill this financial year. The initiative offered up to $100 for local purchases of compost bins, worm farms and bokashi systems. Lord Mayor Peter Stiles said the strong community uptake demonstrates a local commitment to managing food waste at its source. The program is expected to reopen in the next financial year alongside community education workshops. And let's check in on some news from overseas jurisdictions. The Stafford Borough Council in the UK has this week approved plans to ban face coverings in public spaces to combat antisocial behaviour. The measure is part of an updated Public Spaces Protection Order set for implementation late this year, and it targets intimidation by groups of young adults. Exemptions will apply for religious and health reasons. The BBC reported that breaches could attract a fixed penalty notice of up to £100. The Office of the Ombudsman in the Philippines has filed 2 graft charges against Bourbon Vice Mayor Noel de Tios. The cases concern the alleged unauthorised release of municipal bonuses and a conflict of interest contract renewal. According to Cebu Daily News, criminal prosecution will proceed despite a previous administrative clearance. Fort Worth, Texas Mayor Matty Parker and her husband have denied conflict of interest allegations regarding data centre lobbying, according to the Fort Worth report. Public filings link the mayor's husband to a prominent data centre coalition, prompting calls from local critics for her recusal ahead of an upcoming council vote on stricter development regulations. Local governments in British Columbia, Canada are urging caution following a joint federal and provincial $3.2 billion housing package. While the initiative lowers developer charges, municipal leaders warn a lack of detail and a shift away from funding non-market housing leaves long-term infrastructure issues unresolved. City of Langley Mayor Nathan Pakal told CBC News that rumours abound about the subsidies and clear guidance is needed soon. And in New Zealand, Rangitikei Mayor Andy Watson has heavily criticised central government council reforms, labelling the Head Start amalgamation initiative as purely political, according to the Post. Speaking to community members, Mayor Watson warned that the proposed structural changes threaten local identity and could drastically reduce regional representation. The reform gives councils until August 9 to submit a proactive plan or risk facing a forced amalgamation. That's all we have for you today on episode number 603 of the Local Government News Roundup, recorded on the morning of Wednesday, the 24th of June, 2026. You can find out more by heading to lgnewsroundup.com, where you'll find a transcript and links to stories that we've referenced where available. Our podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. We record in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Waratah-Wynyard people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening, and bye for now. Support for the Local Government News Roundup comes from Rath Engineering Development, smarter systems for local government, like Red GMS, helping councils manage gravel pits and projects, track quality, test results, blending options and haulage, and know the true cost per tonne from day one. Rath Engineering Development can give you a one-off report that uses your existing pit data to pinpoint the best gravel sources for your next resheeting program or disaster restoration works, saving your council time and money. For local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience, talk to the team at Rath Engineering Development. Head to rathed.com.au to find out more.